Unfortunately, I missed your speech because I had to take a test compelled by the capitalist system. I have heard some of your previous comments about Marx and Marxism, and as somebody who's read a little bit of Marx, I find them to be misinformed, or if we're not being politically correct here, pretty ignorant, especially about the prediction that the capitalist system will destroy itself automatically, and your comments about state ownership being the goal. So, I was wondering two things. One, which of Marx's writings, which of the stuff that he wrote specifically, have you read and used that to base your analysis of Marxism off of? And second, could you define socialism in a way that is related to Marxism and not just completely, separated from it? That way you can, point to like Hitler and call him a socialist in a way that Marx would not agree with.
Well, first of all, if the capitalist system is forcing you to take a test, and you went along with it, you're obviously a very pathetic sellout of the capitalist system. You should have taken a stance of bold independence and said, I don't care about capitalism, I don't care about the test, I want real knowledge, I'm going to hear D'Souza. But you didn't do that, that's all. Look. Marx envisioned a socialism that would occur in two phases. The first would be the dictatorship of the proletariat, and then pure communism, in which the state itself would wither away. There'd be no state at all. That was Marxist doctrine.
Where do you get that from?
That the state will wither away?
Well, no, I mean that schema, dictatorship of the proletariat and all that. Which of Marx's writings are you specifically drawing upon?
Yeah, so what we have to do is we have to move from the early Marx, the Prolegomena to Hegel, the early writings of Marx through Das Kapital, through the Communist Manifesto. Now, there are some collaborations with Engels in which it's hard to disentangle one from the other. So there's an evolution in Marx. But I'm saying that early Marx was a little bit more liberal, which is to say more compatible with liberal democracy than later Marx. As Marx became radicalized over time, his doctrine of communism solidified. Socialism is to communism. Socialism is the economic wing of communism. Now, you're right, Marx didn't envision state takeovers of anything. But every actual socialist regime has done that. Every regime professing socialism has actually taken over industry and established government control over it, starting with Lenin. So I guess what I was doing is moving from Marxist theory to Marxist praxis, to action. And I don't know how to understand ideologies without looking at their practitioners. Imagine if somebody were to say that I profess true Christianity, but there are no Christians in the world. Everybody who actually says that they're a Christian is not a real Christian. I envision a Christianity that is not practiced by any so-called Christian. You'd be like, well, how do I make sense of what you're saying? All these people profess to be Christians, and if we can't look at what they think and what they believe and what they do, what is Christianity apart from Christians? So similarly, what is Marxism apart?
What do you think is the future for America? Are we going to fall to the fire or come out of it like a phoenix and actually maintain our core values?
The pendulum could go either way. I think we'll come out okay. And I'm an optimist not just because that's my temperament, but because a lot of times young people, for example, swing to the left because of an idealism that is manipulated by their professors. The idealism itself is good, and conservatives sometimes make a tactical mistake by saying to young people, their own kids, things like, you're kind of idealistic right now, but just wait till you're 45 and have to pay taxes, and you're going to lose all your ideals real fast, and then you're going to vote for the Republican Party. This, to me, is not the best marketing for the Republican Party. We are the party of idealism also, and we have to compete for the idealism of young people. So I think if we do that, we'll find more fertile soil. Same with minorities. Debbie's Hispanic, Latino, from Venezuela. I'm Asian American. I mean, if we speak to fellow immigrants and make the case
we strike a tremendously responsive chord. It's just that those people have never heard Republicans talk this way. I remember I was speaking to a group of South Asians. This was at Harvard a few years ago. And this young woman says to me, a very interesting question. She goes, I'm an Asian American, I'm an Indian American. I always feel suspended between two cultures. How will I know when I've become an American? And I said to her with a straight face, I said, well, I think you'll know when you've become an American when you become a Republican.